Got it. Greetings and welcome. This is Christine Michelle Van Pelt, State Coordinator for the Indiana Assembly. I want to welcome you to the call. Please make sure that as you're coming in, you put your name and county in the chat so we can make sure and recognize you for the agenda minutes. I see Sarah on Allen County. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We'll go ahead and get things going. It is 7:01. So this is the Indiana Assembly, and we are in session. This is Sunday, April the 6th, 2025, and we'll start with a moment to honor our Creator. I'd like to go ahead and add, Holy Father, we are grateful to be here in these days standing firm in your truth. We come to you in our own divine expression of our grace and mercy through the name of Yeshua. We ask that you bring forth boldly your finest, bravest, and sharpest Indianians to do your will here on Indiana. We ask for you to call forth authentic and responsible Indiana men and women overflowing in honor and integrity to fulfill your will through our work here on Indiana in these days. We ask that you call forth the kind and truthful men and women of Indiana that are ready, able, and not to forget, willing to stand for your truth here on Indiana. We thank you for this, Father, and bless this call. Bless everyone that is on this call. Bless everyone that listens to the recordings afterwards. In your most holy and precious name we praise you. Amen. All right. So in the chat, we've also got the Bivens decision in there. Let me move this out. Make sure if you are on the call that you please put your name and county in the chat so we can recognize you. All right. So we'll go ahead with the Bivens decision. When we do have a marshal at arms, this would be their portion to read, or if there was also a facilitator, a moderator that stepped up, or for a General Assembly chair. This meeting is private to all ASNs or ASCs and those invited. The Bivens Declaration is in effect. It is the responsibility of each man or woman to announce their presence per the Bivens Declaration. It is also the responsibility of each man or woman to identify and know the classic signs of agent provocateurs and infiltrators. This important information is posted in the meeting chat. Is there any response to the Bivens decision? Hearing none. Okay. Again, on the call, or if you are on your cell phone, it's *6. You can go ahead and take a moment now and please give us your name and county, because no one comes to the call without announcing their presence. That would be *6 if you're on your cell phone, or you can post it in the chat if you're not on your cell phone. But you will need to present yourself on the call. We have someone that is on their phone, so they'll need to press *6 so that they can go ahead and announce themselves, please. I see we have another member on the call. Please either put in the chat or go ahead and announce your name and county that you're on, please, so we can welcome you and include you in the minutes. Is everyone hearing me? I'm sure someone is, because I did hopefully saw the... Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Andrew, I'm Marion. Yes, is that you, Andrew?
Yes, it is.
I got you. I just saw your chat too pop up. So
I had sent the text. I didn't know if y'all had got it. I just got in the chat.
Just as you said hello.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself back again.
Yes, that's fine. *6 if you're on your phone. Okay, dear. Welcome. And he is on Marion County, so we'll make sure we get him in and get my notes so we get to that point. So we have Sarah on Allen County with us, and we have Andrew on Marion County. We had another man on the call. Can you please give us your name and your county so we can make sure and include you? Either chat or can go ahead and speak, or *6. We need to go ahead and get your response so we can make sure, because you are to present yourself who all is on the call, please. If you're not going to be able to respond to let us know who you are and that you're on the call with us and what county, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. No one comes to the calls without identifying themselves and what county they're on. I still don't have a chat or someone popping in. So you're gonna have to respond, please. One more opportunity, or I have to go ahead and remove you from the call until you're able to let us know who you are and what county on Indiana that you're on. Hi, John, on Carroll County. Welcome. Thank you. Glad you're with us. Hope you're doing better.
I am, Christine. I hope everyone's doing good, too.
Yeah, how's everybody done through all these crazy storms?
We did fine. I mean, at least I don't see any damage around here, but we did good in Carroll County.
Good.
How'd you guys do down there?
We've got some serious flooding. We are not in our yard, but the river has flooded the road and everything, so it's been pretty interesting. Yesterday was nothing but storm, so I wasn't able to do the live call, but I was able to at least get the recording up for the outreach, because I had a feeling I was going to have problems, so I went ahead so I could record it here, and then trying to wait till I had a good moment to be able to upload to be able to at least get the recording out for the outreach call. But we've had a few nights there where tornadoes because I get the Red Cross alerts as well as FEMA, and we had several tornado warnings about a week ago, a little less than a week ago, several tornado warnings within one night. So it was a little bit interesting around here, but hopefully we should be through most of this. So I'm glad everybody. Go ahead, dear.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, how did you do in Allen and Marion County?
Down here in Marion, it was horrible. It was Marion and Hamilton. It kind of tore us up down here, so everybody's just recovering.
Oh goodness. Well, but no one was hurt, right? Or at least that you know.
Not that I know of, but.
Good. But there's aftermath of dealing with it all, but.
Yeah, it was a lot of house damage and power outages and things of that nature down here. But it come with the territory.
Yeah. Well, we're glad that you're safe, and at least all those that you know are safe as well. Allen County, how did you do? If you're able to, or are you only chat-wise? Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get going so we can, we've got a few things that I want to make sure that we get through this evening. Bear with me as I try to keep up with chat and making sure, if you can, ask May if you want to ask something directly, because that might be quicker than me seeing a chat sometimes. Oh, Alan, sorry, I missed the question. I was asking how did y'all do in Allen County because of the storm, through the major storms?
Not too bad.
Oh, good. It mostly went through, like we were a lot of that first part of it too, and then Marion County got pretty big.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I know there was some hail last week, like around Thursday, but this weekend it was very light.
Good. And so everybody there that you know anyway is safe and good, right? That's the main thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us on the call. We'll go ahead and get things moving along. All right, let me get this cleared so I can see. Okay, so our disclaimer, we are engaged in the practice of self-government. Everyone here is volunteering their precious time and skill. Each one is an American with rights and prerogatives equal to your own. They are doing this work out of mutual necessity to restore the lawful American government. Demands for services, temper tantrums, and misplaced anger are inappropriate. This country does not belong to its government. This country belongs to the people who live here, and you're one of them. And Anna has put the challenge out to teach yourself not to lie so that you can be truly fearless, because what brings on fears is if you're telling lies, your fear is, will you be caught? Will someone find out that you told a lie? So don't even tell a lie and you don't have to worry about it, right? Walk in truth. All right, we need to know the difference between agent provocateur, infiltrators, spies, things like that. Because while we see a lot on the TV and everything and what they try to program us with, there's a lot of those that don't even realize that they're even acting like that. Because you know how some where you get so focused on something that you really don't like that you end up becoming that. So it's paying attention to what those signs are so that you aren't showing them yourself, right? An agent provocateur, one employed to associate with suspected persons and by pretending sympathy with their aims to incite them to some incriminating action. That's why we're all about peace. An example, and this is straight up, this is what their own examples are. The government used agent provocateurs to try to undermine the opposition party. And we're finding out that that's been true a lot. It's infiltrator as a noun, also as a informer, stool pigeon, counter spy, double agent, sleeper, spy master, super spy, courier, agent, asset, emissary, intelligencer, mole, operative. You get the gist. Or there's also the lurkers, those that like to sit on the call, say nothing, just because they want to see who's doing what. They don't want to be seen, they don't want to be heard, but they want to see what everybody else is doing so that they can attack to see, well, what did they do wrong, instead of actually trying to participate and be a part of it. There's the article, Warning Signs of Infiltrators. This was way back from 2019, that these are tactics that were being used on the assemblies. A few of these were used directly here on Indiana, so we've had to deal with it as well. Attack the leaders, coordinator, Anna, James. They always want to try and find something wrong with the coordinator for whatever reason. They don't like them, or they like to talk about the coordinator behind their back and try to get people to, this is where the gossiping comes in, and divide and conquer. They want to attack the assembly's ability to make money when we're all volunteers and everything has to be supported by the people. But yet wonder, well, why isn't this getting taken care of? Why isn't this getting taken care of? And they're not putting up a dime to help either. Or they want to attack the foundational elements, the paperwork, the assembly process. The paperwork in the assembly process is the same across the board. But there are some that think, well, if they can persuade that assembly to take whatever paperwork they want to bring forward, that they just have to accept it. Well, no. Land and soil. No parson tax, no sea jurisdiction. You can see all the other, and that's just some of them. There's more in that article. All right, so we need to go forward with our mission statement. This is something that we need to be reminded of because it is the mission. This is the goal. This is what we're working for. That means you have to actually step up and participate to make it happen, right? Our Indiana Assembly is dedicated to the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction, state and county court system, serving the people of Indiana, the preservation of the national trust, the enforcement of the public law, the upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people, the repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction, the filling of vacated public offices, and the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. To these ends, we, the living people of Indiana, have called the eligible Indiana nationals and citizen electors to assemble and to serve as jurors and officers. And we have established the process and procedure to qualify jurors and others competent to hold state citizenship and public office. We do this peacefully and without rancor in the exercise of our unincorporated powers and capacities. And yes, we've called all the Indianians that are eligible, and eligible also means you have to do the cancellation notices on a lot of the build process. And that is to ensure the safety of the assembly as well as our members. All right, so let's go ahead and get in here. We've got Sarah on Allen County. We have John on Carroll. And we have Andrew on Marion over here. All right. I am on Gibson County. Let's see. We have, Wayne and Terry on Miami. Welcome, welcome. How are you all doing there? How'd you fare through all this crazy weather? Go ahead. *6 if you're on your phone, or you can pop in. How'd you do? Hello? Oh, trying to get your mic to work. Okay. All right. And I see we've got another one on the call. Welcome, dear. Oh, weather was fine. Okay, good. I see we have another on the call. Please go ahead and give us your name and county, dear. *6. Oh, you're on your phone. *6.
Drew Van Lake, Elkhart County. Hi, Christine.
Awesome. Hi, dear. How you doing?
Well, I'm having technical difficulties.
That's what this is. I'm saying Wayne and Terry as well. Yeah, totally get it. But how are you doing? How's life treating you?
I'm doing good. Better than what you're getting down there, I guess, with the weather.
Oh yes. We get all the nasty stuff from Illinois. That's what I tell my husband all the time. You see, it's coming from Illinois.
Well, we're thinking about you, and everything is okay down there.
Yes, God has been blessing us, definitely. We had a little bit of water in the front yard this morning from the rains from last night, but it pretty much cleared up. But there's a lot, like our neighbor beside us, they've got a little bit of a lake in their front yard, and the river did overflow into the road. So and we're on a severe flood warning, till the 7th. At least. And then some kind of freeze. There's supposed to be a freeze warning right after that. I'm like, oh, that's going to be great with all the...
Well, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know what's happening, and I'm going to try and plug in my iPod so I can...
Okay, dear.
Yeah, like I'm real technical. So I'm going to try that and see if I can still hear.
All right, dear.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, good. As long as you can hear too. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So here are assembly documents. So we have the Indiana Assembly Participation Agreement and Affirmation of Purpose and Conduct, Letter of Intent to join the General Assembly, Letter of Intent and Conduct to become an American State National or American State Citizen. And then once you've done your paperwork, status, corrected everything, and you're ready to actually join the assembly and wanting to start participating, then as far as on committees and working in elected roles, things like that, here is the member agreement as a state national or state citizen. All right, so we have our reminders. We, the members of the Indiana Assembly, in order to ensure peaceful and orderly meetings, hereby establish the following protocols. All those wishing to speak on a topic wait their turn and let the prior speaker finish without interrupting. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. If a topic can't be discussed in 3 minutes, it needs to be addressed in a committee meeting or be set up as an agenda item prior to the meeting. All cussing, swear words, foul language, threats, and other inappropriate speech is not allowed here, and I'm sure none of us are going to do that. But I can click you out. This is a business organization, and we accept all members and guests to act in a business-like manner and show respect to each other. You are responsible for keeping the peace and upholding the public law. Use common sense and self-govern. And according to Donna's Article 5021 Committee of the Whole clarification for militia, but she also includes that it's for the General Assembly as well, is that you must show reasonable good cause for not serving in this capacity if you're choosing to join as a member. And then start participating. And just, it's one thing that if your job has your schedule that you're not, that's, we totally get that. We're not going to say, well, stop working. No. But seeing what you can do to make steps to make that change, if that's not going to, at least then do follow with the recordings, but then respond to the recordings. And that way you can still actively participate. When you have information that you want to add, things like that, you can still be able to connect that way. You can still be able to participate, but you have to connect in. Don't think that, well, I can't come to the assembly call, so I can't do anything. And we have many that think that because they can't or not able, for whatever reason, to attend the General Assembly calls, they feel, well, I can't do anything, so I'm just not going to bother. Well, there's a lot that can still be done that, that you can still be able to support. Okay, so floor etiquette, how to request the floor. May I, or raise the hand icon, wait for the moderator to acknowledge you. State your name and county. Again, here's another time where you state your name and county. This is the Bivens Declaration, so we all know who's on the call, who's all with us. And present the information short and to the point. Keep it under 3 minutes. Keep discussion to business topics. Stay on point. And these are assembly calls, so they're not going to be directed for personal remedy. Okay? That's not what the General Assembly calls are for. Now, it's about bringing up situations that could be going on that affect a lot of people, but it's not a direct personal opportunity to try and get some input on a personal situation. Okay, that's where you're going to want to consult with me, or you're going to have maybe contacted other members and see what other suggestions they may have to support you. I may not have, an answer to be able to try and give you, to try and at least direct you to support you, because there's a lot of things I just don't have. I haven't had experience in, so I don't have that knowledge, and I'm not going to try and tell you how to do something that I haven't even dealt with myself, right? That wouldn't be fair. But I at least try to get you in the right direction if it's something that I haven't dealt with personally. All right, and that's where it is helpful that other Indianians that have gone through situations, that they step up and be a mentor to others, to say, hey, well, this is what I went through. And these are the steps that I took. Now, they may or may not, follow exactly that, and that's their choice, but it's also not that one's that's sharing that information. It's not their fault if something doesn't work for someone else, because every situation is different. All right, so old business. We've got the reminder of public notices to all the county sheriffs. So far, I've only had one respond, and that was Miami County, where they've sent their notice to the county sheriff, and it's posted on the website. Pardon. Taking a drink. Sorry. So as you do that, please send an email out so we can be able to start listing and recognizing the counties that have been sent that notice. Until we have a General Assembly chair, we cannot send out a letter from the Assembly to all the 92 counties from the Assembly perspective until there's a General Assembly chairperson. And therefore I can't send the letters out as the state coordinator. So that's why it's important that you, as the men and women on the land, send those notices yourself as well. Every bit backs it up and supports it. Again, it is of, by, and for the people. We need your money to help keep the lights on, the doors open. It would be nice if we could get every county to be supporting. At this point in time, we've got 3 counties that 2 of the counties have a regular monthly support, and we have 1 county that's pretty good on a every once in a while basis, but we really need to have the people's support, and that means money too, to keep these things going. CERT training, register. You can do an online training at onlinecert.org, and I have a PDF there about how to be able to access it, and then how to be able to get back to it once after you go back later to be able to work through that. And it does provide a certificate once you go through the process, and you can email that to cert@theindianaassembly.org. So we can start building a list, a database of sorts of ensuring of who has had the CERT training. It's Community Emergency Response Team training, so you can learn what to do in emergency situations. I have had the basic training in Marion County with my husband. We did that back in 2017, I think it was. And I also have the manuals that at some point in time we can be able to develop our own CERT training program. But in the meantime, we need to get people to be able to start at least getting a basic understanding of what to do in emergency situations. We're the ones that are, somebody posted on LinkedIn and said, if FEMA closes, a lot of people die. Well, no. It's because the people need to actually step up and be there to help support in their own community. That was what the actual National Guard was supposed to be. And it started as the militia. It was illegally and unlawfully converted to the National Guard, and then they were then converted over to the Army. But it's us, the people, that are supposed to be that, because every first responder training that you get, they will tell you, you are the first responder. Because no matter what, you'll be the first one that could even respond. There was a house fire in Indianapolis. We literally could see the fire station 4 doors down, could see the fire station, but they could not come till I got to a safe place with the children and our dog to call 911 so that they can be dispatched, so they could be sent, even though they saw it. And that's the difference between a professional and a living man or a woman. A living man or a woman should be able to act when there's an emergency. They shouldn't have to wait for any authority to tell them whether they can deploy or not. All right, so here is a folder full of information to help you with, to send out information to attorneys and doctors. If you are dealing with any kind of court cases, there's the sole survivorship template and the criminal incident complaint and notice of liability template, as well as the spreadsheets that have all of the incorporation state of Indiana DUNS numbers, including all the courts, so that you can be able to look up their DUNS numbers and present it to them that we know that they're incorporated. And you'll be able to learn in the information of why that's important too. All right, assembly roles needed and volunteers are what, there's no salary that comes with this. Many are under the assumption that it's like the de facto, that there's going to be some kind of, I had one man email me that he's an attorney and he was interested in seeing what positions are available and what the pay was. I said, no. One, you're not able to participate as a bar attorney, and 2, we don't have any salaries for anyone. This is all volunteer, because it's we the people that are doing this. Okay, so for committee support, elected officials and appointed roles, there's the background check in addition to making sure you present your cancellation notices. It's not just, well, I canceled voter registration, I stopped paying IRS. No, you have to present that you have confirmed you've canceled the voter registration. That's the one that could put us all in jeopardy, because that's the one that can arrest your physical vessel. And if we were somewhere together, they could arrest everybody that's around them, and that's putting other members in a bad situation. So we need to make sure that the voter registration is canceled, and then the 2 letters to IRS have been dealt with. This is so that you don't have the IRS trying to threaten you over money and trying to persuade you to do things for that money. And then if you were former military, there's a military cancellation process as well. And this is to ensure your safety, the Assembly's safety, and all the Indianans that went through the process to secure their safety too. I've included a link to the call to actual public office. On it goes through and gives you more of that mindset of what you should be in public office, as well as listing of some of the various roles and a little bit more detail of what those roles do. Here's also the General Assembly Handbook, but note it is in a revision, because there is one point, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here, that it has definitely changed. All right, we're looking for county directors, General Assembly Chair Pro Tem. The Pro Tem afterwards is for some of these roles because until the assemblies have been given their standing from the Federation to be able to separate but not from the Federation, some of the roles have to be in Pro Tem terms so that we can go ahead and actively conduct business. Then once the separation and standing occurs, then a new election occurs where the Pro Tem is removed. So we have General Assembly Chair, Marshal at Arms. Here's more details about Marshal at Arms. That's a key one that we really need to get someone vetted in that so that we can get them training to start getting that moving to support us. Militia co-coordinators as well. And then looking for an assembly liaison, and PKTF is doing a lot as far as supporting getting that training going. But that also means as the liaison, you have to then follow through with coming to the assembly calls and present what information was given to you from the PKTF to share that information. So it is something that you would be actively doing. It's not something you can just go sit and hang out there but not do anything relative to the assembly. You still have to participate with your home state assembly. And many want to go everywhere else but deal with their own home state assembly. But that's part of the de facto's programming. Reminder, elected sheriffs have been lawfully converted to peacekeepers, so they must present that one-pager to the state assembly or vacate their position. And then we can bring someone that has status corrected. And this is in the Constitution Enforcement Seminar Handbook, page 58. Is a great page to be able to, if you wanted to have that talk with your sheriff or send it to them, you can send that page and it gives the breakdown of how the actual ranking goes. Recording secretaries, treasurer. We need the treasurer to help support in getting the banking aspect going. The banking aspect is a separate function of the General Assembly, okay? 2 separate functions. One is not dependent on the other, okay? But both functions have to get moving, okay? And banking is a side function, whereas the General Assembly is a major part of the pillar of building the assembly. We also need, we're seeking pillar directors, those that would be willing to take on the lead to help support getting each of the pillars, get that particular pillar set up. Excuse me. Okay. I did go ahead and update the map because we did have, I put in that we had 2 new nationals that presented on Boone County, and that then changed Boone County from not just being populated, but it went live. That is where populated is that at least one has presented their status correction on that county. Those are the ones that are counties in red. And then the ones in green, 2 or more have presented their status correction. Those in yellow have at least spoken up, said, hey, I want some more information. And this is great because for the longest time there was not a whole lot on this map that was colored in. So at least, there's a lot of yellows in there still, but at least we're getting more counties that are at least speaking up. And we have to remember, though, too, there's going to be some counties where there's more farmland, so there's not going to be as many people. So we need to, if you're close to a county like that, at least try to go talk to that. Try to go talk to those people on those counties, the ones that are there, and see if they're interested in setting up and participating with the assembly. But I wanted to get that updated, and then gives you a number on the counties of where we're at, because one of our primary goals, along with filling all the seats, getting the pillars in play, is to also get our whole state green. All right, any questions before I start going into a little presentation that I have? Okay, let me go here. All right, is everybody able to the screen share change easily? Do you see a picture of Ronald Reagan on the screen?
I do.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Hopefully, now, it should, of course, the train's coming through. I'll wait just a moment where it stopped with the horn. Yes, and the train's right there. So it's fun trying to make, it can also cause buffering in the internet connection as well. So that's been fun. Okay, we should be able to do this now.
So here's something that we definitely should never, ever forget. Check it out.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do. We, the people, are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
So here's something that we definitely...
All right. So I wanted to share that. Hold on. And I will share one more. Oh, there's a chat. Hold on. Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Wayne. Okay. So, and this is on the TASA website. Take me a moment to... But I did a voiceover because on the TASA website it only has music in the background, and with this being becoming an audio podcast on the iHeart, you really need to hear the whole thing. So let me hold on, screen share. Oh, hold on. All right. Share. Okay. Is everyone able to see that? Hopefully the screen share came up for a video.
For John, it is.
Okay. All right. We'll get this going. For government. Your government is supposed to be staffed by you. Its decisions are supposed to be made by. That's right. You guessed it. You. Its primary responsibility is to protect you and your property assets at all costs against all comers. That's why governments exist. And that is the only reason for any government to exist. Ever. But what if your government doesn't protect you? What if instead your government preys upon you, threatens you, harasses you, and makes you miserable and fearful? Then something is terribly wrong. 6 generations of Americans have been preyed upon, threatened, and harassed by something posing as their government. It isn't our government. It's a substitute government run by 2 federal subcontractors. So these people are our employees directly, but they're being told what to do by foreign governments controlled by foreign principles. The Holy See, the British monarch, and the Lord Mayor of London. Those foreign governments are under contract to provide us with certain enumerated governmental services. They have been exercising our own delegated powers and operating in our names. They're supposed to operate under the limitations in accordance with their employment contracts called the constitutions. Instead, they've been colluding to evade their obligations under the constitutions. And they've been misdirecting our employees to racketeer against us and to misidentify our political status, to impersonate us, and to defraud us. So instead of protecting us, these hired helpers have operated in breach of trust and harmed us. They've done exactly the opposite of what your government is supposed to do. But do you notice something? Do you see what's missing? You are. You are supposed to be self-governing. You are supposed to be running your government, not your hirelings. So we noticed what was wrong a long time ago, and we dusted off our laurels, and we got to work. And we talked to our friends and neighbors, those who would listen, and we explained what was wrong, and we learned more as we went. And we organized the government we are supposed to have. Your government. There's just one problem. We are supporting it. We are putting our time and money into it. We are building it up and restoring it. We are doing our jobs. But where are you? If you want a government that protects you, a government that doesn't steal from you, harass you, threaten you, or harm you, then it's high time that you start backing your government. And participating in it and supporting it with your money and your skills and your time. When you come home to the land and soil that bore you and start breathing as a free woman or man again, you will remember the American dream. And you will no longer bear the burdens of federal or U.S. citizenship. You won't be subject to foreign statutory laws. You won't worry about federal agents breaking down your doors. You won't pay federal income taxes anymore. You will have little or no reason to ever visit their courts. You will possess your homes and your land and soil as freeholders, not tenants. You won't pay any mortgages or utilities or property taxes. You will be in control of your own lives again. Now think about that. You know that. Your government is what guarantees these results. It's more important than what we've just described for you. What greater profit can you realize by investing in anything else? The American States Assembly.net. Thank you. All right. And I noticed when I was listening to that, I said the word directly instead of indirectly, so the near perfectionist in me is probably going to end up redoing that just to make sure that that's correct, because that'll drive me crazy. All right. Let's stop screen sharing that, and we'll get back to here. All right. Okay. And I already addressed that we had two state national. Let me screen share so you know what I'm. We had two. Oh, that's here. Two nationals that finished their presentments to the assembly, so that changed Boone County from populated to live. So, yay! So that's agreement, which we did. If someone's noticed from the past maps, we had Montgomery at least in the yellow, but they ended up moving to Minnesota, so we had to switch them. So we don't have anyone on Montgomery County at this point. So, but we did have the bonus of being able to take Boone County from populated to live. All right, so this was the point that I wanted to bring up because we do have great news. One of the things that we've been trying to deal with. Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Okay. One of the things we've been dealing with was because in the General Assembly Handbook, it states that we were to have that original first vote because of being 1861. Since the Assembly stopped working, we were going back to that time to bring things forward for a main vote to bring people of color and women to actively participate in the actual build. So I did put this correction out here. Pardon my tardiness in learning of this lateness of this information, but hopefully this will help be able to not hold anybody up so we can get people to actually start stepping up and doing things. I want to say thank you to the woman on St. Joe County for sending an email, and she addressed Article 1679. Okay, and that was helpful. It wasn't just you need to tell people that we shouldn't be doing this. No. she went ahead and she found the article and she addressed it appropriately, and so then that gave me then the information to proceed and connect with the Federation to follow up on that. And as I stated here, step 4 of page 16 in the General Assembly Handbook goes into great detail about that whole process, and so that's what we had been basing this information on. So we did go ahead and get that confirmation, so we're not going to have that first inaugural vote. So hopefully now we can have more people stepping up and actually supporting and doing things to help with the build. All right, so I want to say a great thank you to our National on St. Joseph County for bringing that forward. And I did put the information here as well as on the General Assembly page. Did I put it in? Yeah, right here I put it at the top to include it, as well as I've updated it so it'll be on, that information has been removed then for the May newsletter, so that is out there, as well as I've updated it here within, hopefully you can still see that too. Within, you'll see as we go along that I've removed it out of the Assembly agenda minutes as well. So we've been able to move forward, so that it should be great news. I'm hoping to be great news for everyone so that we can now start getting things moving. Okay? All right. So also, we are in desperate need of supplies. Since funding isn't coming in, just keeping the technology and everything going, that's where my husband and I have been footing the bill to help bring this forward. And our few donations that we do have, we still have supplies that are needed too. We need file folders, page protectors, printer paper, printer ink. I'm at the point I've already got two drawer file cabinets. They're full, as well as I've got a file box that's full. And at some point that all has to be organized in a better way. And a file cabinet would be helpful. So if you're interested in supporting, because if you're having a hard time with trying to produce any cash to actually put forward to help the Assembly because you're concerned that it won't go to something that you think it should, help support with supplies. If it's a lot, you can send some of that stuff, obviously can go to the post office box. I mean, it depends on how big it is. But if you do have, if you are interested in supporting with a larger item, email me and I'll send you our address here so that it can be sent here directly. But these are materials that are needed to help keep things going, to keep the records secured and in safe condition for the Assembly. A reminder that our next Assembly meeting is May 4th at 7 p.m. Central, and there's the link for a free conference call. All right, given that we're already at 7:55, I want to jump through here. Everything is still in here. I did go ahead. It was in this part here, or no, it was up in here. Somewhere in this general section, I had the information about the about that initial vote. So I have removed that, so it's updated that information for that course correction. And you still have all this other supporting information for the different committees, what's needed for the committees, so you can be able to say if that's a committee that you're interested in, which here I've got where you can select a committee that you're interested. This link here is a PDF that gives a little bit more detail about each of the committees. So if you wanted to know a little bit more, if that's a committee that you're interested in. But again, that also means participating. If you're making a commitment to join a committee, then that means you're going to give of your time, give up probably money, because there could be things that the committee could be supporting to plan to put together and need to help bring that forward. So bear in mind, this is an active role as being members of the Assembly. Okay, let's get down to, all right. Okay, so the main thing I want to wrap up here then with is how to build an assembly. Section 1, Introduction and History, and we'll be going through each of this process. So, and as we go along, if there are typos and changes within the video or something, that you can email me as extra eyes, but that would be something that some of the committees would be participating in helping to pull these kinds of trainings together. It wouldn't just be me. All right, let's switch to that. All right, before I start it, any questions, comments real quick? We good? Good?
Christine,
All right.
I'm raising my hand.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wondered, well, I'm just wondering, the more information that we can get, I think we're all kind of fearful, at least I am a little bit, of how to get started. Like, I just need, and I'll probably end up doing a consult with you with some questions, like the postal mailings the correct way and the journal. How do we get started and approach people? And
relative to assembly build.
Okay.
So we're working with getting moving with the committees and getting things moving on the assembly build itself.
Okay. How do we get in touch with each other if we're on the same county? Are we allowed to do that now and bring issues to you?
You have others on your county that have stepped up and presented all of their information and actual presenting of a member agreement, and that they're even interested in volunteering to step up for a committee.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. We've got to get people actually stepping up.
Okay.
But that's where also reading through, like in the agenda minutes that's been in there for a long time, where it gives more information of each of the committees, so that you can start getting a little bit more detail. Obviously, it's not going to be a step by step. This is not like it's not like a bus route's already been put in place for us. Okay, this is self-governance, right? We've got to.
Right.
Digging in, it's you've got to have that entrepreneur mindset. Not it's a company already established and you're just filling in the seat, right? This is a startup, right? So you're going to have to do that from that kind of mindset in order to, okay, so this is the type of role that this committee, okay, those are skills that I can provide, so I'll volunteer for this, and then start doing that research, because once you step up, then I can start giving you access to other state assembly trainings and things like that to be able to support with getting deeper information on how to work through those committees. But it's, we gotta get people, this waiting around until we get more information, we're not, look how far we've gotten. If everybody is still waiting until they get enough information, that's why a lot of people feel they have to have 100% of the information before they can even move. That's not what this is about. This is a startup. Go ahead.
So it doesn't matter if we don't feel qualified necessarily. Just do something and get going.
Right.
Okay.
Just start.
Okay. No fear. We'll just do it and learn along the way. Okay.
Right. There's always something to do, and and also you can always try things out. See if is that something does that seem like as you're going along? Well, this may not really be kind of what I'm interested in. And you can try something else out, right? But you have to actually start and not, because everybody seems to keep waiting. as though they're at some point it's just going to all be the whole plan and they know exactly step by step, word for word, every single thing, and that's not where we're at. We have to build it. That's the point of building. And so that's hopefully this How to Build an Assembly series will be able to start getting you more comfortable with that.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, this is just the intro. Thank you. It's great questions, though. Please don't think, great questions, because I'm sure everybody is thinking that. Well, and we thought that was maybe, why people were waiting to even step up, because that first initial vote hadn't happened. So people were waiting to step up. There were many people that were, I still need more information. Well, but this is a walking as you go. You learn as you go. You got to start walking it, right?
Yep.
Get in and get involved.
Okay.
Baby steps, absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and thank you, Drew, for bringing that up, because that is many, I'm sure, are feeling the same way. All right, let's see if it's going to let me play. Greetings. Welcome, everyone. This is Christine Van Pelt, State Coordinator for the Indiana Assembly. I want to welcome you to this and a series of trainings that will walk us through how to build an assembly. This hasn't been done in a few centuries, but it's not like it has never been done. So we want to make sure that we are all on the same page so we understand how to be able to bring this forward. So we're going to start with this first training, and it's the Introduction and History. So let's get things going. Congratulations on your decision to step up and help build your local assembly. This is a huge task, and I say this is local state assembly because that means you're building the assembly on the state that you live on today. It may not be your home where you were born, the state that you were born on, but it's the state that you live on today. All right. So again, it's a huge task. It takes many hands coming together to do this right. It's not one person that does it. It's not just a couple of people. It's all of us coming together, everyone actually putting forth their own sweat, time, money, everything to be able to help put this together. It's not just people coming together just to see what everybody else is doing but not actually doing anything. We're all here to come together to make this happen. I think the expression is teamwork makes the dream work. And we have a lot of U.S. citizen mentality out there that still would like to just sit around on the sidelines. They want to come to the calls, but they don't want to actually lift any weight when it comes to it. And we're looking for those that are ready to lift their load and help participate and make this happen. So we're going to go through the foundational understanding of many things, like our history, the real story, not what you were fed in school, how we were called into session, what the final goal is, and what the steps are to get there. Some of these things we do know. Some of them we're creating based on information that we have. So the foundational principles in this training are based on the extensive research and writings of Anna Maria Reitzinger, pen name Anna von Reitz, and her team of researchers, as well as countless hours of webinar conversations. Wherever there's a reference to an article number, it refers to a particular article written by Anna. All of our articles can be found on annavonreitz.com. So we'll get this rolling along here. Get this in here so you can be able to see the website and get the correct spellings here. So this training is not meant to replace the vast resources available on the website of tasa.americanstatenationals.org, but is an adjunct designed to be a guide to the Reconstruction itself. This website will frequently point back to other resources for deeper dives into relevant supportive information. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to start with this. So, what is an assembly? What is an assembly? It's a group of peers gathered around for a common purpose. Okay, and they gather together to actually, this one says, okay, we all come together. We understand that these are the steps that need to be taken. So, okay, my hand's up, I'm going to do this. This one's hands up, they're going to be able to put forth this to be able to help support. And this one's going to put forth this. And everybody that comes together are actually doing something. They're not just showing up just to see who is doing anything and who's not, and then not lift a finger. This, again, is teamwork, not like what they've taught in the U.S. world where you have the pro stars that are supposed to carry the weight of the whole team. Teamwork means everyone participates. They don't just sit around and everybody get an award. Okay? Not everybody. If you're not going to actually do anything, we love you greatly, and we want to make sure that those coming to the table are actually putting forth the effort so that those that aren't wanting to do that can still be supported by the things that they need out there. So what's a peer? Someone of the same social and political standing. Okay? So we're non-citizens. We're men and women, one of the people. And if you notice, we're a man or a woman, a boy or a girl. Okay? We have the same political status as that we're on the land and soil jurisdiction. There's the U.S. citizen. That's the human person, male or female. Notice that. They don't have man or woman, boy or girl. You're either a male or female, which is just like an animal. Right? An indentured servant or a paid bureaucrat, right? Those in those political seats out there, they're the ones that are actually U.S. citizens and are supposed to be held accountable to the debt that comes with it. Then there's the citizen of the United States. They're the slave, unisex. This is why we have all the wanting people to be confused and accept the lies of a boy being a girl and a girl being a boy, but yet they don't have the right parts, right? That's to keep that confusion so that you're nothing more than a thing. Can be for a corporation, can be a franchise, special purpose vehicle, transmitting utility, etc. So there's an overview. There's 3 types of social and political standings, right? You're either a man or a woman, or you're not, right? All right, so let's go through first here a little bit of the history. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of the 3 subcontractors. So we've got the United States of America, unincorporated. That's the original. That's what said it all. That's what came from the Declaration of Independence. As the states stepped up and built their assemblies, then they formed the United States of America because then the states became joined to unite. That then created the Confederation of States. That's States of America. The Federal Republic, governed by the Constitution for the lowercase u, for meaning that all the states are being united. States of America, general jurisdiction. That's our original Constitution from 1787 to 1860. That's when it actually was fully functioning. It's responsible for running general businesses in the realm of international commerce, trade, and foreign relations. Okay? Then came the territorial United States, the second one, the government it's just become United States of America. There, the isn't a part of it, and the U now has become capped as though it's a whole new thing. And it is governed by the Constitution of the United States of America International Sea Jurisdiction, 1789 to present. So this is one that they're trying to hold on to from the territorial aspect. This is the one that is also what's being held in Washington, D.C., that is now Washington. But this is the one Trump is trying to bring us back to, which still isn't to the original Constitution, but it's trying to get it back to the original, hopefully. Then that is military and territorial property management by the British territorial United States. Okay, so bear in mind, the Crown is involved in all that, right? Then there is the municipal United States government, just simply United States. This one just totally took out America completely, doesn't even care about America at this point. It's governed by the Constitution of the United States, Global Air Jurisdiction, 1790 to present. That's the one that the states all bought into. That's the one that they are using, that is managed and controlled by the Pope. All right. So then, once upon a time, there was a brand new baby country that had just won its independence from its motherland. Right. Well, Britain, sort of. As it often goes in war, there are negotiations. As this collection of battle-weary colonies stood together on the land as a union of states, the United States, and though it was capped, in their newfound freedom, they realized that they needed some things that they weren't able to provide on their own. So they contracted with the Holy See and the British Crown to provide them with certain limited governmental services that fell into the jurisdictions of the air and the sea. That's number 3. That's the third government that was created. They also formed their own American land jurisdiction contractor to join the team. Each of these 3 contractors, aka translation corporations, had its own contract known as a constitution. Yes, there are actually 3 constitutions, and work together to provide governmental services, 19 enumerated services to be exact, that were needed to run the country. Now, if you go look at any one of those constitutions, there's going to be 18 actual services, and then the 19th is that trust, created that actual trust that they're all failing in, because while they created a paper trust, like a lot of those in the U.S. world still want to run to some kind of irrevocable family trust kind of thing. They think it's some kind of a shell protection. But it was also about building that trust, the trust that they were going to follow through and do what's held in the Constitution. They were going to do their part. So just bear that in mind. But that was the 19th enumerated powers, is to maintain the trust. So the beginning of the fraud, well, some of it anyway, is where we start, okay? That was through the breaking down of the 3 different branches, or 3 different subcontractors. So now let's go ahead and skip ahead about 84 years. Things got a little interesting. The motherland wasn't at all thrilled to have lost this beautiful, abundant land, right? They don't want to lose it, right? Now they're angry because the price of cotton produced in America, which they were now dependent upon for their textile mills, was too high. So what do you think? They made people dependent so that they would need those services, right? And now they were angry because, okay, so with the help of France, they plotted to take over. But how? The easiest way to take over any group of people is to divide them first. right? Even though we're supposed to be united, they wanted to be divided. They want to divide. Everything has to be divided. So they observed that the issue of slavery and the differences between the Whigs of the North and the plantation owners of the South were creating tensions. Whigs was that political party at the time. So they decided to use the issue of slavery to divide the people politically, stage a mercenary conflict over it to weaken us, then come in and take over the state and come over and stage a military occupation. Of course, right? But first they made sure they had a British subject in charge whom they could control. Enter, stage left, Abraham Lincoln. Yep, good old honest Abe was a bar attorney holding allegiance to the crown. There was no honesty in that. This meant he did not have the status, standing, or provenance to operate as the President of the United States of America, our unincorporated Federation of States, nor could he be President of the States of America, our Federal Republic, unincorporated, the land jurisdiction. So, as so-called president, he actually was operating as a CEO for the British Territorial Corporation known as the United States of America, Inc. Pretty sneaky, huh? All right, so here's a picture of President Lincoln. Here's a link to the Lieber Code. So less than 3 weeks later, on April 15, 1861, President, CEO Lincoln, convened Congress under the executive branch by proclamation, not an executive order at this point. Not an executive order. Quote, I do hereby, in virtue of the power in me vested by the Constitution, convene both houses of Congress. End quote. Huh? Which Constitution was he referring to you may wonder? And which Congress? And why both? Eventually, because it says convene both houses of Congress. Eventually, Executive Order 100 became the Lieber Code in 1863. And here's a link to that. It's not very long. It's a great, it's interesting to read, and it's not very long. But the 7 southern states that bailed during the war did not return. So a third of our federal government was missing and has been missing all of this time. In the meantime, the remaining 2/3 took advantage of this fact to take over, run amok, and become the bloated, overreaching, multi-tentacled monster that has fraudulently usurped powers that were never theirs to begin with. So, we'll run through here. So, the statue of Abraham Lincoln is where? Westminster, London. Makes you wonder, right? Where was his true allegiance when he was actually a member of the British Accreditation Registry? So we have here, notice the Roman pillars under each arm. This is the Lincoln Monument, right? Here is an aerial view of the Lincoln Monument. Interesting. In a circle, right, with that, with the reflection pond, and then the Washington Monument at the other end. Now, take note of that. This is Lincoln's Memorial, right? Here's the Vatican City aerial view. Interesting, huh? So we have, if you were interested in some more history, there's these a chart of the Great Fraud of 1930 to 1933 from Article 644, the Great Fraud of Today, Part 1, the corruption of the judicial branch. Article 645, the Great Fraud of Today, Part 2, corporations are not governments. And Article 646, the Great Fraud of Today, Part 3, redemption. So, the simple facts in sum. Our actual government, which we are owed and which we owe ourselves, is not fully operational. It is not functioning as it should be because it was never fully restored after the so-called Civil War. We have not restored it because we were not informed that it even needed to be restored. Certain parties profited themselves by keeping that obscured. And foreign contractors have been performing and controlling services never delegated to them and never asked by us to provide. This is all to their advantage, not ours. Every country on earth has both a peacetime and a wartime flag. The flag shown is the American peacetime flag. If you'll notice, the lines are vertical, not horizontal, and it is white with blue stars, not white stars with a blue sea background. Our states and our Federation of States were never involved in the mercenary conflict known as the Civil War. It was fought completely by the American states of states and the territorial and municipal corporations within the air and water jurisdictions. The land and soil jurisdiction has been at peace continuously and remains so to this day. That's why we Americans, standing on the land and soil, fly the civil peacetime flag instead of our wartime flag, Old Glory. All right, then here are here's more articles from Anna about the flag. There's the Declaration of Flag. That is an amazing read. It's lengthy, but it is strong and powerful. Then there's Article 736, a brief report. Article 764, scanned testament for my sons and daughters. Article 649, both flags belong to us. Albeit Russell J. Gould hijacked the Title IV flag and has leased it to the U.S. government to be able to use. Article 898, Fundamental 3, your flags. Article 923, our flags, our history. Article 1110, the real story of the Star-Spangled Banner. Article 4233, the fraudulent misuse of the Title IV flag. That's Old Glory, is the flag we're mostly familiar with, is the Title IV flag. Article 4896, International Public Notice, our Title IV flag. Okay, so how are we going to fix this? How do we get the missing part of our government, the actual American government, states of America, back in the game so that we can take back control of our governing duties? Limit the foreign subcontractors to the original 19 enumerated powers, and return to the original plan our forefathers created for us. It's easy. We just need to call the actual states back into session, right? Right? But wait. What are we exactly calling into session, and how? Well, Section 2 is going to give us that answer. Then we have our peace proclamation. And you'll be able to find that on the 50-state site, as well as TASA will take you there. In the top, it'll say 50 states or Federation of States. And you can look for the federal record. And this will show you it's the International Peace Proclamation. Let's take a moment to all whom these presents come. This proclamation provides explicit and official international notice that peace has been declared by and among the Union States of the States of America and Federation States of the Union in receipt of the authorities of the former Confederate States in the matter of the American Civil War. All jurisdictions and instrumentalities must comply. All federal, territorial, and municipal officers, including all uniformed officers, must comply. It is required that all hostilities related to the American Civil War being conducted as a mercenary conflict in international and global jurisdictions, and having been maintained for 156 years by our foreign subcontractors, must cease and desist without further legal presumption of authority. With this public announcement, all executive orders issued during and as a result of the American Civil War are set aside effective at midnight the 1st of August in the year of 2021. All medical officers and all general staff and reserve and retired elements of the American Armed Forces, U.S. Armed Forces, United States Armed Forces, U.S. Armed Forces, Hospital Corps, medical units, Veterans Administration, United States Department of Defense, UN peacekeepers, DoD officers, NATO officers on shore, all elected, appointed, and promoted personnel and their dependents are required to cease and desist all gene therapy extinction protocols, coerced injections, mask mandates, and similar measures being promoted by the territorial and municipal United States governments in breach of trust and under false presumptions of war. All peacekeeping officers and police officers are fully informed. There are no allowable exceptions and no other powers extended, so said, so signed, and so sealed this first day of August in the year 2021 by James Clinton Belcher, Head of State, States of America, DBA, the United States of America. All right, so let's just clarify here. Many people wrongly believed that the federal government is the sovereign authority in this country. But in fact, the states are the only sovereign entities present. The state includes its physical land and soil, water, and air resources, and its people make up the nation. Hence, each state is a nation state. Okay? Americans take their nationality from their state and are known as Texans, New Yorkers, Minnesotans, Indianians, and so on. And so then here are the states, right? Each state, to be able to see that. And then lastly, we have this chart here. You're going to find it all over the websites. It is the breakdown of everything above the line is what we have to rebuild. The first two come together naturally. The Union of States, that's from the county aspect. That's our national soil jurisdiction. And then there's also the Federation of States. That's from the states as a whole. Okay? Now, the counties, like, say, for example, I'm on Gibson County. I can't go talk to anyone in Illinois in one of their counties. I can't go to a county in Illinois and say, hey, you want to get a part of this. No, they have to, that's part of the whole, this is the whole protection process so that there aren't infiltrators to come in. So from a county level, the county can build, but it's not going to actually, things aren't going to be recognized for that county unless the state as a whole, the state itself is up as well. Okay, so that's why we're, from this aspect, while we are repopulating the counties, which is by default also repopulating the states, that we build the state assembly and the state court first, and then that way there's a template for the counties to be able to work with. Okay? Now, this is all our aspect. While everybody's been so upset about the failure of the de facto, what nobody's realizing is we were the ones that haven't shown up either. And so we've got the democracy in the middle, that's the territorial, and then there is the oligarchy, which is all the municipal. Those are the states of states. Okay? So they're actually supposed to be in play, but they all assumed, because nobody wanted to show up for the actual republic to do the job, they then had free will. Okay? So this is our part. So if you want to hold them accountable, you got to hold yourself accountable and actually stand up and actually participate in getting the assemblies built. So this is a valuable chart. You're going to want to make sure, again, you'll be able to find it all over the TASA site and the 50-state site. You'll find this all over, and you'll want to study this. You'll want to have a printout of it and keep it with you. All right, so that's all I had for this training, for this call. So join us on the next assembly call for How to Build an Assembly, Section 2, and we're going to go through the formation of the American State Assembly. Thank you. All right, let me get all this stuff stopped on the technology for a moment. Get everything going again here. All right. Get this back up. Any questions, comments over the training? Okay, well, you'll want to go ahead and check out the articles that were discussed so you can get deeper into the history, because also that helps that if you're wanting to be to be a mentor to try and help with starting with getting some of the general information out there, that general education of learning the history, learning that would also be great so that you can be able to share that with those that you come into contact with. Having a printout of the chart there with where above is the elements that we're supposed to fill, which then will be our republic, our part that we're actually supposed to be filling. They're trying to assume it as the republic on the territorial because they don't want you to think that you're supposed to be the actual republic. So use that chart, print that out. That'll be a great study. That'll be able to help you to see what the differences and the aspects are, as well as a great conversational piece, conversation starter, right? Because how many times, if instead of looking at your cell phone just to waste some time, you had that out and you were looking at that, how many people might ask you questions about what are you reading? Well, you can say, well, let's look at it together. And you can look at everything will be right there in front of you. Okay, so it's a great conversation tool to have with you, as well as it's better than having that electronic device if you're not actually doing something really productive. That would be something that you could do to replace that need to be scrolling through things, right? Which, by the way, we had, there was a comment. Hold on. Do you think we're going to be, with the Prosperity Union, I've already connected with the Prosperity Unions. At this point in time, I'm the default contact to be able to support that aspect, but you're still not getting access to that money yet, because we've got to start getting the word out to get the vendors, the people that are companies that you're wanting to work with, to get them to accept other than U.S. currency. Okay, so that's legwork you still have to do. We all have to still start talking to the companies that we do want to do business with, and say, are you getting to a point where you're ready to take other currency besides U.S. dollar? Are you ready to use payment through a QR code? So this is work you still have to participate to help get that moving, because even if we opened the doors, if it's just like Bitcoin, there's not a lot of places. I mean, I know Indianapolis now has vending machines that you can convert Bitcoins, but most of the grocery stores and gas stations and if you're paying rent aren't going to accept AFDs at this point, because they're still in the program mindset of U.S. dollars. We've got to be able to get people on board with accepting another currency besides the U.S. dollar. Okay? But we are in connection with it. It's still going to be a matter of when you're actually going to be able to have places that will recognize it and accept it and use it, right? Again, it's all startup. How did you come to the decision to be our state coordinator? I think it was very gutsy that you did. Well, that's that Scorpio in me. So, I just felt led. The opportunity was there. I was reaching out to step up and see what I could do to help. And the woman that was state coordinator at the time, she really didn't have the time to be able to put into it that she would have liked to have, because she did have a full-time job where I am supported by my Holy Father, and he provides all of my needs. So I've been able to have the time to be able to do it. And so I've put the time in and to do the studying and putting the information together. So that was back in 2021. But most seem to think that just because I've been here for a while, they think it's like a main role, but the state coordinator's role is totally supposed to be one that as soon as the people come together, my role starts backing off, because there's more that you all are doing that I don't have to do. So that once the assembly is standing, then the coordinator's role sunsets. It's done. This is only supposed to be temporary. It's not supposed to be a lifetime role. But we got to get people going so that I can then be able to, because I'm in that part of my life now. Our youngest, he moved out last year, so now my husband and I, we're ready to start the next phase of our life too. And so I'm wanting to help get this rolling so that Indianians can still get what they need, and we can help the United States of America as a whole. So there's only still so much that I can do as state coordinator. But somebody had to do it, because others aren't stepping up yet. They're not stepping up because they didn't want to be the one to take that risk yet. And at some point, that's all about what going out and starting something new means, is you're going to have risks. It happens. Oh, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Let me take a moment real quick before we wrap this up. Great questions, though. Let me take a moment. Telegram. Okay, social media. I am not Facebook. I don't have Facebook. I actually canceled out and closed out Facebook several years ago, because that's all part of getting you caught up in a trap. Now, there are others that are able to do that, but I can't deal with the social media aspect for that. But we do have Telegram that I've been getting back to, trying at least getting the link information and everything up. But we're looking for people that, if you're wanting to be a part of that and you're willing to moderate and get the information out there, you're welcome to step up and do that. That's one way that would be able to help support to be able to get that information out. Let me take a minute and get the Telegram link. Someone just joined, unless it's said someone just joined the call. let's see. While I'm looking up I guess it was somebody getting to their cell phone. Okay. All right. The link to Telegram, and there's the train. Where do I see that? Okay. Somewhere. Invite link. Okay. Copy link. And let me pop that into the chat. And again, if someone is into, being able to support and help with that, yes, please, because I am not one that's into social media and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, we do have a channel for the main assembly. That's the link that's there. New general orientation, new general member orientation, but that's been more so gone now to the online training. Many of you still need to go ahead and take that new member orientation. Many seem to think that they can bypass that, but it's got valuable information that will help you. I just realized the mic was still up. I hope you were still able to hear me. But there's a lot of information in the new member orientation. Though a lot of people just don't seem to think that they need to even take that, but that's important information that will help you as well. But here is our Telegram, and I popped up that link earlier today about Ronald Reagan. But we've got an outreach channel and militia, I think, too. Yeah, militia. You'll know it should be a sub to the main channel. But anyway, like I said, I'm lucky to try and even get the call link out there, and I hadn't been doing it for a while and just started getting back into that so we can get some form of social media out there. All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay, I do have all of the articles from the last month listed. All right, do we have anyone willing to present a motion to adjourn to May 4th, 2025, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern?
Christine, it's Drew Elkhart.
Hi,
I'll
Drew.
make the motion.
Thank you, Drew, on Elkhart for the first motion. Second motion?
John, Carroll County. Second
John.
motion to adjourn.
Until May the
4th.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you both. I appreciate that. All right, so all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Do we have ayes in the chat? Oh, and we also got Wayne giving a second, and Andrew's giving his aye. All right, we're gonna include Andrew here in this as well on the second. On Marion, so we got you in here too. All right. Okay, so motion carries at 8:45, and everyone. And we have no nays or anything, right? All right. Thank you all for coming to the call. I better go ahead and get the copy of the chat too before I close it out. Thank you all for coming to the call, and have a great month. Hopefully we'll be able to connect sometime soon that you're interested in supporting with committees, or even if you're interested in doing social media. All right, everyone, I wish you peace and love. Have a great evening. Take care.
Bye, Christine. Peace and love.
Peace and love.